Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to have Faran Niaz with me here. Hi, Faran.
Hi, how are you? My pleasure to be here. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are.
Thank you
Pleasure.
very much, Faran. It's really a great pleasure to have with me for this CX Goalkeepers Bar discussion. You are in Dubai, but before we start discussing about all the experience that we can have or we could have in Dubai, I think it's the best way is to start a short introduction. I think in the CX world, everybody knows you, but perhaps there are two or three people there that don't know you, and therefore it would be great to get a short introduction from your side.
First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. I think you've become a phenomenon as well. The CX goalkeeper is a very well known, and I think it's my honor to be on this. I would call it a show. So it would for me it would be a show. Hello everyone. My name is Faran. I originally am from Pakistan. I started my career with Citibank about 20 25 years ago, and that's how much my career in customer experience is. Always passionate about people, serving customers. And I was first 11 years with Citibank. I worked in many parts of the world, including 3 years in Russia. So I was stationed in Moscow as the head of customer experience. At that point of time, it used to be customer service. So I've seen the transition from customer service to customer experience. I was then brought into UAE about 15 years ago, joined one of the large banks here, Mashreq, which is also a big name. I worked with their entire call center and alternate channels. And then I was headhunted by Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank. I was with them for 10 years, and very proudly, as everybody know, I think I've told this story multiple times, very proudly, that I brought this bank from 23rd position to number one bank in customer experience in UAE in 4 years time period. And we stayed there for 7 consecutive years, which is to date. So even if today you go on the website of the official website, you will see Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank as the number one bank. So I feel very proud along with the team that I had in Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank.
I am very honored to have you on this show because as you are saying, you have a great experience, a great career, and also now what you are doing for the CX community, it's outstanding. I was able to follow you on several discussion webinars, and I think what you are bringing to the CX community, it's outstanding, and I am really keen to start a discussion.
Thank you. If I may add one more thing because recently I have started my own consultancy by the name of CX Future. So I thought with the experience that I have, maybe I would be better off like helping organizations and others help them with customer experience, improving their customer experience. So I will leave my details at the end, and if somebody's interested, most welcome to join.
Sure, and I will share also them in the show notes. I think for quite a lot of people, it will be a pleasure to have a chat with you, a discussion with you, because at the end, we came also in contact like that. We shared some thoughts, we met sometimes, and now I said, let's have a discussion. And now we are here.
Very excited.
Thank you very much. I think the best way to start, it's really only saying Dubai, it's really the place where all the outstanding experiences take place. You mentioned also in the preparation of this discussion about a new rating model, the 7-star rating model, and perhaps I think with you it will be really interesting if you could share your own experience that you had with companies, and perhaps you can start with the best experience that you had in Dubai.
Sure. I think one thing I always say in many of my conversations, I'm very proud and very privileged to be in a part of the world where customer experience is driven by the government. And here, the government is so clear about what customer experience, how customer experience needs to be, that they're very, very serious. And I'll give you some examples. Maybe some of them have previously heard it from me as well. One fine evening, we read a tweet from the leader of this great country and Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. He has a habit of going and sitting in places and experiencing different kind of places himself. So he went to one of the government offices. This was Dubai Post. And he sat in the queue, took a queue number, and he sat and waited for his turn. This is the owner of, leader of the country. So after 10, 15, 20 minutes, then he sent a a tweet and say, this is not the service that this country was meant to be. These people are not from here. I don't own them. This is not the service that we, and the whole country moved. Next day, he goes to Ministry of Interior, says, I want you to do a full survey. And after 3 to 1 months, I want to publish the top 5 government offices of UAE and the bottom 5. And guess what? What happens? You open the newspaper, right in front of the newspaper, the front page, there is a list of the names of the top 5 and the list of the bottom 5 and why they're good and why they're bad, and full, transparent, full list. The top organizations, obviously, they were rewarded, they got promotions, and the bottom ones, the top management lost their jobs. Simple as that, as clearer. Digital transformation, techniques, customer experience, everything here is driven. Very quickly, if I may tell you, this is the only country probably where there is a minister of happiness. There's the only country where there are roads. When you go on the street, you see happiness street. There is a happiness area. There are happiness street. And all the government offices are called happiness centers. They're not called offices, but happiness centers. And you mentioned the 7-star. They said, why, if a hotel can have a rating and customers had the choice of making a choice of reading, going on the websites and saying, I want to stay in a 5-star hotel. You choose 5-star. Why can't I choose a 5-star center? So you go and search for a 5-star center and you go there. Now, if you go around UAE, around Dubai, you will see blanks already outside the government offices where you will see 3 stars or 4 stars and 5 stars, and there are criteria. I'm very privileged from the banking side, from the financial world. I was very deeply part of this whole initiative before the corona hit, and it was stalled, but I think it's going to start again, and they will gradually move it into different parts of sectors as well.
Thank you, Faran, for the introduction. And I think what you mentioned, a leader of a country goes to an office and experience, like all the other people, what happens. I think this is an outstanding example of leadership and trying to live the life that other people are living. As you mentioned, you already mentioned that the Minister of Happiness. Coming back to this topic, could you perhaps share a bit of ideas? What is the role of Minister of Happiness?
I think it revolves around, the priority is the people. They want to ensure that wherever customer go, they get excellent experience. The idea is not just to put a plank outside. It relates to, and I've been, we're curious about, as customer experience professionals, we're curious. So I wanted to go into a 5-rated or a 7-rated unit. I believe there's only one that I saw which has 6 rating. You go inside, it's a one-stop shop. Everything is pitch perfect. I went inside and you feel as if you're in a 5-star hotel. Everything is taken care of. The people, the processes, everything is so smooth. And then I walked into a 3-star center as well, and I realized that there are some things missing. And you can relate. What the Minister of Happiness, the role is to highlight the position of UAE as the leader of experience around the world, not just UAE. So they have open lines with the people. So as a resident of UAE, I have the exposure, or I have the possibility to talk to the government and register my grievances. I can write on my good experiences, I can talk about my bad experiences, and they immediately work on it. And not only it's a forum where they work on people grievances or whatever happens, they're innovative. So they have a sector where the minister has a team where they would go around talking to people, trying to figure out what's happening in the world. What is the new thing that's happening in customer experience? UAE needs to have it first. That is why there's so many technologies that this country has, which the other countries are now still, looking for. And I can go into the details, but I think, we'll have short time. But the purpose of ministry is to ensure, just like any other ministry, make sure that the people of this country are happiness. And by the way, you can see it from the happiness rating, which is published globally. And you can see the UAE rating is very, very high, and every year it's increasing. If I'm not wrong, it's amongst the top 25 now.
And I think that was my short experience also in Dubai. It was an outstanding experience. And as you mentioned, I think one topic that I think it's also relevant, even if Dubai is the leading country, it even that they are looking outside and trying to benchmark themselves against what it's even better. I think for quite a lot of topics, it's not possible to benchmark because, let's say, you are already the best. Perhaps do you have some experience that you had that you can share in order to really explain this caring about people, attention to details?
Yeah, I think I would go a slightly step above. It's not just they're following benchmarks globally, but I think they're creating benchmarks. The way they have handled COVID, I feel so privileged that I'm part of the world where I can go out. I can do whatever I want. Yesterday, I was then in the cinema watching a movie. I've been to the theater watching opera. I can go on the beach. I can be in a hotel. I can be in a park. I can do what my life is normal here. When the rest of the world is struggling, even if I don't want to go into the numbers are so controlled, mashallah. But for me, this pandemic is this. That's it. But the beauty about this part of the world is when the government says everybody wears a mask, believe me, brother, you will not find a single person who does not wear it. Everyone follows because they love it, because they respect. And that's how we've been able to control it. There are a lot of examples I can give you, and probably the best way to look at is maybe if you start looking at what Dubai offers. It's becoming one of the hub as far as tourism is concerned. The only 7-star hotel in the world. It's not just a 7-star. It's a wonder of the world. I've had the privilege of going there multiple times. The biggest water parks, the fastest roller coaster in the world, the biggest aquarium, largest mall in the world, the tallest building, of course, in the world. It's bigger and better and largest. Now we have a Dubai Eye, which is probably much larger than the London Eye itself as well. So it's the experiences. It's not about what it does. One day I was standing with one of my friends and we were standing and we looked around 180 degrees and say, this is iconic. This is iconic. Here's another iconic thing. Here's another iconic. Everything is iconic. It's not just the structures, but when you walk into, and jokingly, we always talk amongst our friends, Dubai actually spoils you. The living standard that, mashallah, it provides you and the kind of luxury that it provides you. I, mashallah, drive a car and I can afford it, which probably I can't afford back home. The hotel, I can safely say it without hurting anybody's feeling. A 3-star hotel here is probably better than a 5-star hotel in some part of the world. And the 5-star hotel are so, you've been here. The luxury, the space, the luxury, the attention to detail is that's why it brings people back. It brings, and the care and attention that it gives you. I shared with you, I think I shared the pictures. I was, again, very proud. I was one of the passengers on this all COVID, all vaccinated flight that went in the air a few days ago. It went around UAE and I wrote it on my LinkedIn profile. I'm flying to nowhere. So we were in the air for 3 hours and the experience was unbelievable. Right now, when you go through the immigration, there is no passport. There is no ID. You just go through. It's through your retina. The system just reads your eye. You stand there for a second and you go through. What experiences are you talking about? What level of experience, and this is. Airlines itself, amazing. I've flown many airlines and anybody who's flown Etihad or Emirates itself, what a phenomenal experience. And somebody was saying, there are a lot of issues, obviously, There are 2 different experiences you get. When you're on plane, on board, what an amazing experience you get. Etihad announced maybe right before COVID The first, where you have a cabin where you can sleep, there is a bed. I mean, ever thought about a bed inside an aeroplane? I was talking about the 7-star hotel. When you go there, everything is so beautiful. It's like gold plated and luxurious, and the views is breathtaking, and people are taken care of. Um, if I have any issue, it's immediately. I remember when I was working for the bank, Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, I got a call. In the evening, I was at home, and the CEO called. He said, Farhan, I'm flying right now. coming back from London. I want you to immediately go and find out who does the training of Emirates Airline. I want my bank people to be trained on hospitality because I love it, the way they're taking care of me. He said, I asked for something. I got not only got this, but I got something else as well. And they're listening to me. And I actually went to, Emirates Training Institute, and I got my people trained through there. So replicated. It's just so many stories that I can tell you, which create experiences here. People are trained to give you moments. There are moments so when you visit somewhere, when you go somewhere, it leaves a mark of experience. It's not about the money. It's not about the luxury. It's about the hospitality. It's about how the country takes care of you, and it's how you go back smiling. And I mean, I have seen people crying on the airports, and when I ask them what happened, can I help you? Something wrong? You lost your passport? I don't want to go. My passport, my visa ended, and I have to go back. But I'll be back soon. This place attracts you, and there's a reason.
And I think what you're saying, I can confirm that, because that was also my personal experience. It was only a few days, but it was our honeymoon, and in every restaurant where we went to, they asked us in advance, "Why are you here?" And everybody was caring about creating a special moment because it was our honeymoon, and they wanted, exactly as you said, not only create an experience, but create a moment that I can remember for life. And it was really an outstanding setup. And I think this is also based on the mindset. It's really a planning, but this is really a mindset that all the people, the government, but all the industry also around that are creating that in order to be the best in offering these experiences.
I'll tell you one of the reasons why it has. When you know that you will be recognized for your good work, it's not just that you're doing some good work and it goes. I always say customer experience people are the unsung heroes. You do so many amazing things. I started my career in the call center, and I used to take calls for a while as well, and I've been in the front end as well. So I'm very proud that I've gone through different ranks. And I've seen, when I became the call center manager, I had so much respect for these people. For example, you're taking 100 calls a day. You take 99 great calls, one bad call, and it becomes an issue. This is how tough this job is. You see 100 customers front end, you smile, you give them great experience, one angry customer, one bad experience, and you're questioned. Here, you do a good job, you're recognized. The government recognizes you. There are multiple awards here. There are multiple ceremonies here. They recognize their people. People feel proud. I'm very proudly judge of customer experience, multiple forums, and I would like to flaunt this, which Awards International gave me very recently, being one of the judge who's done maximum number of awards. I've done awards in a lot of parts of the world. The passion that I see when it's in Gulf region, they fight for it because they want to show to their compatriots, I've achieved something. For them, it's not an award. It's a mode of flaunting. They like to show. This is where they want to show off. That I've done a great job. I'm helping people. I'm great in serving people. My organization serves people better than, one of the reasons why a lot of people ask me, how did you improve from 23 to number one? It's not an easy thing. 30 plus banks. You are at the bottom out of 27 banks. And we very quickly, one thing that I read the psychology of the people of this part of the world, and this is why you need to understand the culture. And I realized that they like to compete positively amongst each other. So the branches who were very good, I was complimenting them, and the ones who were at the bottom, I sat with them and I said, listen, I want you to be at the top. Would you like to be amongst your name to be highlighted amongst the ones who are? And they say, we will do anything to be, amongst the one. So that passion to do something and to create is remarkable.
But I think, Farhan, what you're saying, it's extremely important, and it's a key mindset, because at the end, in the morning, when I wake up, it's not that I say, I don't want to do anything. If I wake up in the morning, I am happy, I am here, I want to create value added, I want to create something, and therefore I give my best. And I think in your region, what you're explaining is, it's even one step further, because you want to create this experience, because there is this positive competition to show to the others that you can do that, and then everybody's improving at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I tell you, but there are different sides to it. When there is this kind of competition and customer experience becomes such a, when I said that I've seen the transition, I'll tell you the different stages of customer experience that I saw. And customer experience is very recent. It's about 5-6 years old only. It's a new baby. So customer service used to be part of it. But when I came to this part of the world, the first word I used to hear was hospitality. So they never used to call it customer service. They used to call it hospitality. And then from hospitality, it became happiness. And from happiness, it became customer experience. And I remember, look at the mentality of the organizations. So one day my CEO calls me and says, Farhan, what is this word customer experience? I'm hearing it. What is it? So that's why I introduced the customer experience, NPS and everything. And he was sitting with me and he said, I want you to tell me, who do you think is the best in customer experience in the world right now? So off my head, I said, I think Disney is very good. And guess what? Next week, he sent me to Disney. I was in Disney. And I got my certification from Mickey Mouse. I mean, I have a certificate from Mickey Mouse as well. I did my course. And then from there, I went to Zappos. For me, Zappos is an amazing, and Tony, I met Tony as well. He was a great leader. And I learned so many traits of that. But what I'm trying to tell you, what was new in the world, this part of the world was curious. They wanted to, but the point that I wanted to make, when it's this kind of a competition, the expectations go high. So now look at the other side, which is the customer side. The expectation of the customer is twofold. So you need to over deliver, not on par, but you need to over deliver. So expectations, something which probably would be wow factor for ordinary customer. That's why people get wow when they come here. For us, you people who live in this part of the world, it's normal. Because our expectations are higher, have gone higher than that.
And I think this is exactly the point, that at the end, nowadays, you're not comparing a restaurant with a restaurant, but you're comparing a restaurant with Zappos, Disney, and
Yes.
all these top companies in customer experience, and therefore it's also difficult to improve. And what you're saying, it's always to overachieve what are the expectation. I think one of the most important colleagues in customer experience, Shep Icon, is saying creating amazing experiences, and this is always a bit more than normal and than average. And at the end, in Dubai, the average is so high that it will be difficult to go one step further.
I'll also tell you one thing, as I said before as well, this country is step ahead. So whatever happens in the world is here. So digitalization or transformation is a huge thing here. But you know what the beauty, and which is I'm a big advocate of I am not in the favor of 100% digitalization of any, because the human touch is so important. And that's what I like about this part of the world, that you find the best technology in the world. Very soon you will see cars which are driverless. You will see taxis which are going to be in the air. By the way, they're already ready. So the helicopter taxis are already ready, which will be, human contactless. But at the same time, the empathy, the sympathy, the people touch is so, because this is the culture, and that's what I love. There are still When I came new, I don't know, I'm just going back to my initial days, and what fascinated me when I came to, wow, I've been in so many parts of the world, why this culture is so different. I used to be so surprised that I used to see a lot of people coming to the branches, old customers, they're sitting. You know what? How? They bring their food and their newspaper. They sit. They feel that they're at home, not in an organization. They feel that they belong to the organization. And during this time period, I observed this. They're chatting with everyone. They know everyone by name. Everybody knows every customer. They're sitting every now and then. They're drinking their coffee. Half an hour, he's reading his newspaper. He'll get up, he'll go to the counter, he'll do something, his work. He'll come back, start chatting to the branch manager. I have never seen this kind of a cohesion, this kind of a friendliness, and this kind of a in any part of the world. And this is why I'm a big advocate that technology, along with human factor, is so important. 3 days ago, as I told you, I went for. I was going with my friend for a movie, and I was very full of popcorn and everything. I'd like to have a good experience. And thank God there is a human being. Obviously, it was a great digital experience. I got my ticket online, and you have this QR code. But there is a guy who wants to read your QR code. So there's still a human being, not a robot. So when he read the QR code and he said, "Oops, we have a problem," I said, "What happened?" He said, "This ticket is for tomorrow." So by mistake, I bought a ticket for the day later. So no problem. Give me 1 minute. Just please, just give me a second. Went on the computer. Here's your new ticket. Please go and enjoy. That's the beauty of a human being. This is why humans are so important. And I was giving this example to somebody, and I think, I don't know if this related or not. Uh, I'm very passionate about the human part. No matter if you order your food online, this is what COVID did. COVID has changed our lives. And by the way, I'll talk about the experience on the COVID side as well. That you order your food, for example, but in the end, it's the guy who comes on that scooter or on this vehicle on time with your warm pizza or your sandwich or burger or whatever you ordered. And when the bell rings and he gives you that, that's the moment. Those are the moments, and those are human being. Now, in this part of the world also, the experience changed a little bit because of the COVID. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the digital part of the world, but the more practical part of it. Dynamics changed from more perks and what the product offers me, rather than how safe it is and what kind of environment it offers me. And I'll give you the example. Why am I quoting it? Before, Etihad or Emirates used to boost. We have the best cabins, we have the maximum number of movies, our inter-flight entertainment is best in the world, we have the biggest cabins. Now they say we have the safest plane, it's the cleanest one. All our cabin crew is 100% vaccinated. This is the now the selling point. And this is where this part of the world takes a lead as well. And this is because why? Because the customers expect it. There's an expectation. Because majority of the people here, and like other parts of the world here, there's a very there is a high number of high profile customers here. The high profile customer, and it's a part of the world where you've been here. You can see that there's a competition amongst people as well. Who has what, and that's why the expectations are accordingly, and they expect more.
I think what you are saying, it's extremely important, and coming back to the human part of the experience, this is still key, because the machine is not able to replicate, as you said, the empathy or also understanding. Oh, Faran has the wrong ticket. I changed that so that he can enjoy the movie this evening with his friends, and he doesn't need to wait for tomorrow to watch the movie. And I think this is really key, and it will take quite a lot of time until a machine can or will be able to replicate this human interaction. And and I fully agree with that. Perhaps also speaking about human relationship, what I'm always saying is we are not in the B2B business or B2C, but we are in a human to human
So very
business.
well.
And this is also time to get a bit more about yourself, Farhan. And therefore I would ask, as you said, you were, I don't know, 10 times or more times judged at the international at Customer Experience Awards. You are really renowned worldwide about your skills around customer experience. How can you ensure to have a proper life work balance?
Yeah, if you would have asked me this question a year ago, I would have had a different answer. But now, because of the COVID, the life, one, there are a lot of negative, but there are a lot of positives that this pandemic brought. I think it brought people closer. It brought families together. People who were spending majority of their time outside, fathers, husbands, brothers, mothers, sisters. Now they're spending time. Yeah. Yes, there are odd. I mean, I'm scared my door might open and somebody might walk in. And that can happen. And it happened in many of the but at least the family is there. Maybe the kid will start crying and you will hear the kid. I mean, mashallah, your kid is sleeping. You never know, might wake up because of something, and we might hear this. But that's the beauty of this world. So we've come closer. However, I'll tell you, I was talking to the CEO of a bank in Pakistan. And he said, Farhan, I have realized one thing. Why was I traveling every day, stuck in traffic for hours, when I can do everything? I get up on time, I sit, I do everything. If I need to sign some particular document, this is the CEO who's talking. Somebody brings those papers, I sign them, I'm fine. I'm just thinking maybe even if this pandemic goes away, I think this will become my norm. Look at what happened to the call centers. Call center environment is very difficult. Now, remote call centers, all the accesses are there. So people can now take calls at the luxury of wherever they are, the staff. Same is the case with other people. There are some jobs where it's necessary. There are some jobs which people can now do from home. So work-life balance has automatically taken its, I don't know when, inshallah, when this pandemic ends, my estimate is, and I feel this balance will remain. I'm sure. Tell me yourself, if I may ask you this question. Do you spend more time with your family now than you used to before?
Sure. I don't.
Absolutely.
I don't.
And we have become more closer. I mean, I have done all my work. If I may take the name Zoom, I can talk to my entire team. I can motivate them through this. I can do, but I do miss, obviously you miss, there are a lot of other things, but at the same time you realize that a lot of things can be done, remotely. And work-life balance is, to me, is now taking shape, and I think the balance is very much there now.
And what you're saying, I can confirm that, because quite a lot of people are speaking about the new normal. But first, we need to understand what is normal, because afterwards, we don't know what really normal will be. As you are saying, we see that working from home, it's really working well. Remote call center.
It's a financial as well. Imagine that if I have a large team and I realize that I can give them accesses, if it's not, there is no compliance issues there, some of the accesses, I can, why do I need to have expensive, premises and all the equipment, and that organizations can save a lot of money and have things. We're talking about digital. I mean, I am so fascinated by this AI world, the augmented technology. I'm a big fan of virtual reality. I actually went into one shop wearing those virtual reality where you can walk inside the shop and you can feel those things. And there is a video going on, maybe I'll share it with you. There is a restaurant where it's an augmented technology. The menu is a 3D menu that appears on your, and you can actually see the real burger or your menu with flaming hot flames coming out of it and smoke coming out of it. It's as real as it can get. Now sitting in my home, before I used to just go online and I used to choose a hotel based on the reviews. Now I can walk through the rooms virtually. I can choose which room I want, which view. which view I want. I can sit in a car, I can open a door without actually being in the car. I can open a door, sit in the car, look around at the interior, and I can feel what the car is. Technology has really, really moved to a different, and that would probably be the next norm.
I think so. And as we are speaking about experiences, technology is only a mean to create new experiences, and therefore fully agree with you. Perhaps the next question, and I see quite a lot of books behind you, and also this question: is there a book that you would suggest to the audience that you say this is a book that I really liked, or that helped you in your career?
Yeah, I have read quite a few books. I like to read the books which are more closer to the and one of the books I think everybody has read, Fred Reichert, which is the big question, and where the NPS came out, and that's where I've read the book which Tony also wrote, and I would recommend that one. I can come up with the name very soon, and this is the Zappos. This is Zappos story. It gives you a lot of insight into your. Now, I'm very keen on reading the books which are my colleagues write. I mean, I'm very proud that I'm part of this faculty, which is called the Customer Experience Faculty. And recently, there was the third Customer Experience book published. So I would recommend those. And you have a chapter there as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, correct.
So, I'm very proud, and I have already ordered. I think it's on the way. I want to hold it in my hand, and I would read that. And I think if I'm not wrong, inshallah, I will be featured in the next one as well. When you talk about the books, instead of I can give names, and there is a lot of names but people are. I rather talk about something else, of a concept of a book that I want to write. This is something which is missing in my. I wish I can write a book of my experiences, of my day-to-day, which people can read in illustration. So you read it as a comic book. For example, the experience that I have, different experiences, I want to create a comic book so people can read it as an illustration and watch it but not, I've always been, I want to create something which is unique and which is different. So hopefully one day I would be able to offer this to the public.
I hope so, and I will be the first buyer of your book, because you are explaining such a great example. You have so many experiences that you can share. And
I have a habit whenever I go somewhere and I experience something, I write it down immediately. Do we have time? I can give you a couple of very good experiences.
Sure.
People will learn from this, and good and bad experiences both. I'll give you a good one. So I went to this restaurant with my friend, and I invited her for a drink. So we went to this restaurant and we ordered. It's a busy restaurant, just like TGIF. Here it's called Chili's. So I don't have a problem taking the name. So Chili's is very famous here, but it's just like TGIF, and you can order. So we ordered a very nice dish, and then I said, "What would you like to drink?" She said, "I want to try something new." Goes through and looks at a drink which looks beautiful, blue color. Never I've seen this kind of a color. She said, "I want to order this. Let's see how this." Anyways, she ordered, took one sip, and she said, "I don't like," and put it on the side. We didn't say anything. Would you believe the guy who was waiting us, he came and said, "Ma'am, I'm observing you're not drinking it. What happened?" I said, "No, we're fine. We're not the ones who complain." I said, "No, why are you not drinking it? You don't like it?" She said, "Yes, it's very bitter. I'd like something more sweeter." I said, "No problem. Go to the menu. Tell me which one do you like." So he chose another one, and he brought that one. And when the bill came, they did not charge us for any drink. Now, this is a guy who's waiting this is a busy place. It's not a 5-star hotel I'm talking about. It's not a top line. I'm talking about a place where it's a crowded place. But look at this guy. This is an experience. These are the kind of things that leave a mark on you. And look at his empowerment. Look how he took care of. At the same time, we have all different kind of experience in this. So I can write a lot of things. I have hundreds of these experiences that I always note down. I was in a hotel, and there were kids with us, very expensive. So we took a staycation, very 5-star very high profile. Great, lovely view, excellent staff. Now the kid, we were a family. So one of the kids said that I want to go to the slides. The slides are, there's a special kind of slides which are in the sea so people can go and jump, and it's a jumping kind of thing. So the price was, there was a certain price for it. So the mom came running to me, one of the moms, and said, I'm very angry. I said, what happened? Everything is fine. She said, you know what? This guy refused to let my son go to the slide. I said, why? He said the slides are 120 dirhams. I have only 100. I do not have 20. He said, no, I will not let him go unless you give me 20. I said, listen, I'm staying here. Please charge it to my room. He said, no, I need cash. I said, listen, my son is here. I'm staying here. Let him go. I'll bring this 20. He said, no, if you don't give it to me right now, I will lose my job. I don't want to be without. My manager would be very angry. And we were so sad. I said, look, what an amazing place. Everything was so good. And this one experience where the person did not want to, going by the book, there is a policy, and I just want to follow it. Listen, see how much you can, what you can do for the people. So there are always good and bad experiences at the same place as well. You can have experiences which are good and bad.
Now I also learning a lot, and I understand why, for example, Ian Golding is inviting you to his masterclass, because you have so many good examples to explain what is better and what it's not so good, and also why making this example of following the policy or empowerment.
You actually took my secret when I said that I want to write an illustration book of examples. That's exactly what those examples would be, because every illustration would actually tell a story and say what went right and what went wrong and what could have been done better. So that's my whole plan. So now the secret is out. What my whole plan of the book is. Thank you.
Faran, if somebody would like to contact you for additional questions, what is the best way to connect with you?
I am very approachable. I mean, I come from a Citibank background where we believed in open door policy, and anybody could have walked into our, and we love this. I really respect Citibank for this culture, and I brought this culture everywhere, and people loved it. Especially I went to some organization where there was a closed door policy, and I'm one of them where the door is open and everybody could walk in and have a good discussion. It really works. It brings people closer. Very simple formula, but it. So I have I'm on LinkedIn, so I can give my LinkedIn, and that's where I'm always. I'm on WhatsApp. Anybody who wants to WhatsApp me, I'm very fond of WhatsApp as well. My mobile is there. I'm on Twitter as well. I'm on Instagram as well. By the way, one more thing that I want to add: if somebody wants to talk to me about some other stuff, look behind me. You can see Lego. So I'm a big fan of Lego. I just completed my Lamborghini, which is outside. So I completed my big Lamborghini. So I am a award-winning photographer as well.
Oh.
So I was nominated as I was awarded the best photographer of UAE in 2010. I was in the newspapers, and my work has been exhibited in Italy and Thailand and some other places as well. So if people want to connect me for photography, I'll be very happy. So what I'll do is, you have all my links. I would appreciate if you could just put them at the end, maybe and
sure. That's
and I'll give you the link of my my website as well for my CX Future.
I don't know if I phrased that correctly, but this is your expectation, and it will be my duty to provide all the information.
Not a duty. I thank you for this. You're you're doing me a favor. Thank you.
Thank you. And the very last question, Faran, it's your golden nugget. It's something we discussed, or something new that you would share with the audience.
What would that be?
Golden nugget.
I believe, if you are a manager, for me, a very important part of what I've learned in this 20, you can be a best worker. You can be an amazing, expert of your field. But if you're not a good leader, become a good leader. Become a person who is proud of the achievement of their team. Somebody would ask me, Faran, what is your success of an organization? I would say my success is the organization winning the awards, not me. not anyone. Highlight your people. I'll give you one example. One team leader, just team leader that I chose in Citibank today is the retail head of Citibank in one of the countries. Identify people, nurture them. If you have some quality, if you have some experience, give it to people. Share it. By sharing, you learn. I learn my experiences by sharing with others, by giving your experiences. If you have, I think it's our duty. So my request from everyone, all these experts, CX experts, give as much as you can to the new ones. And I'm very proud and I'm very happy that a lot of new entrants into customer experience, they contact me and say, we just want to, learn from your experience, how you've. So I love sharing my stories, and I sit with them and I share them, and maybe in the future they will, be able to experience something. So there's no nugget. It's just a request. If with all the experience that people have, please share with it. Make sure that people learn from you and become.
That's perfect, and I will join your request. And at the end, the only thing that I can say is thank you very much, Faran. It was a great pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you.
Your show is amazing, and I waited to be there. So I'm finally, this is an achievement for me as well.
Thank you very much. And also to the audience, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And I hope that you enjoyed this discussion as much as I enjoyed.
Any questions, please feel free, just write to me, or we can have discussion. Even if something that we've not discussed, any other topic related to customer experience, I'll be very happy to answer.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure.